Hi everyone, Vickie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. We're going to take a look at the the new moon, which is occurring on January 27th, 2017, and it's at 8 degrees of Aquarius over here. So yeah, new moon in Aquarius, and it's the 11th house. So Aquarius is technology. It's forward-thinking, futuristic. Technology, the internet. It is freedom from restrictions. It's ruled by Uranus. So we've got 11th house Aquarius Uranus over here. It's ruled by Uranus, so therefore it is freedom. We don't want to be restricted. We want to be free from constraints. We want to throw down the old and move into the future. So that's going to be the theme of this. It's also the 11th house, so that's your friends and associates. That's groups you belong to. Great day for new beginnings in those areas. Let me just take a quick look down here. I've not looked at this chart at all. So there, it looks like it's unaspected according to the aspectarian, but sometimes it doesn't take into account these other things. I want to move on because what's drawing me is we still have this major thing going on with this Pisces stuff. Pisces. And Venus and Mars are still in there. Mars is going to get out of there probably later that day. I forgot to bring my thing in here. But it's at 29:50, so it's ready to, 10 more minutes. But it's not actually minutes, like... well, it's very soon. Let's just put it that way. I don't really want to get into explaining that whole thing. But it's at 29 degrees, the very last degree of Pisces. The very last degree of the entire zodiac. Mars at 29 Pisces. And that's what, people are up in arms. And I get into this a lot if you order those chart readings from me, the Soul's Journey. But 29 Pisces is a major degree of a past life thing. It's a major karmic degree. It's 29, so it's a critical degree. But I feel, when I'm looking at this, I feel like people are so up in arms about everything that's going on in the world because there's past life karma involved with it too. Collectively, as groups, and also individually. These things that are going on now in the world, and in America especially, with the politics and everything, this is triggering memories from our soul, from our past lives, where similar situations have arose. I'm not going to go into, because it's going to be different from everybody. There's different points in history that can be drawn from all over the place. But there, in a Pisces, it's emotional, and it's these, we've got the Chiron in there with these old wounds. So these old karmic wounds. So it's more than just what's going on now in the present day. It's reaching far, far back, especially while the nodes are still in Pisces, the South Node. This is a major karmic clearing. This is a major karmic cleansing. This is triggering... People are getting so, even though, we're, like in America, we're just at the very beginning of it, but people are so emotionally invested, and so, it's bringing up so much stuff because it's coming from our collective karma and our past lives, again, as individuals and as groups. And whether we realize it or not in our conscious mind, because this is the unconscious here too, Neptune is a ruler, this is all the unconscious and soul level stuff. It's there. It's there, and it's affecting us whether you want to, acknowledge it or recognize it in your mental, human monkey mind. It's there. It's totally there. There's so much. So it's just like this big drowning pool or cesspool of energy. And it's so heavy. I mean, look at it. It's just, it's such a concentration here. It's so heavy and so deep. And it's such a big, almost like an onus. And here's poor little, we got the poor little Virgo over here trying to fend off all this stuff. It's no match. It's no match for all this. This could be representative. It's really Mercury in the 3rd house, but this could be representative of your analytical mind. This is being in the real world, and and this is being in your emotional state, your emotional world, your subconscious mind. This is, it's no way, that there's no competition, there's no, it's not a fair fight, This is going to win out. This is heavier. So I think we got to acknowledge it. We've got to realize it. And even if you don't believe in past lives at all, or karmic anything, you could look at it as our ancestors, because everybody's ancestors has been oppressed and gone through genocides and different things, pretty much everybody's, at some point in history. So even if you don't want to look at it as your collective karmic past life memories, you can look at it as just your ancestral, the past. It's your line that you came up through. Just about every group has been oppressed at some point in time here. So you could look at it either way, but really, it's karmic and stuff like that. With the Venus and Mars and the Pisces, too, this is directly related to people we love and our emotional love life stuff and things like that, are those types of relationships. So those types of relationships are undergoing some undergoing some deep soul searching. And if you want to bring it into, like, the everyday reality like that, sometimes it can be like, well, these things that you're... Here's the big picture. Things that you're upset about in the here and now are not only about the here and now. There's a huge emotional baggage being dragged along here with all this Pisces stuff. Whether it comes from, if you're talking about your relationships, it's your past relationship. Whether you're talking about your life in general, whether you're talking about your suffering, which is the Pisces, the martyr, can be the martyr. It's a downward expression of Pisces energy, is the martyr energy, victim, martyr. It's all got, there's baggage. There's major, major baggage going on. That's what I see here. But the answer is not to deny it or try to push it away or forget about it. It's the healing. The Chiron is the healing. So it's like dive in. Even though it's Aquarius, we're moving into this Aquarius energy. You can't just deny this heavy-duty Pisces stuff that's going on here. I mean, it's intense. It's very, very intense. And then we have Saturn square Venus, too, and the Mars, and the Chiron. Saturn square Chiron is going to be an ongoing thing. Talk about some healing. Talk about the healing, again, of the family lines. And, if you take it from a higher perspective, we're born into these family lines because of our own personal karma. You have to experience it. You have to walk in the other's moccasins. So, if you were a perpetrator of different things, then you're going to be born in, you choose to be born into a family of, so you can experience. You choose to be born into these families so you can experience whatever. It's not necessarily tit for tat or, victim perpetrator. It could be a lot of different things. Juno's in there too. So again, we got into this before. Juno wasn't the father of the gods and mother, but it's a male and female. It's a parental vibration. It's the feminine and the masculine, the parent stuff here, and it's squaring off with all this wounded healing. So a lot of that stuff can be coming up at this time, and it could be, again, you don't have to go into the deep karmic aspects of it. You can just say, well, I'm going to look at my childhood and my past life as in this incarnation, my wounds in this incarnation. But it goes much deeper. And even in that case, if you want to just look at it like that, so your parents wounded you, they hurt you. Well, again, their parents hurt them. These are karmic cycles within families. This is very strong, especially with Saturn. Because Saturn is, our forefathers and whatnot, And what's going on, too, with the political climate and everything, the idea is to break free and do better. Break those horrible old patterns, So, yeah, the patriarchy and, the things that are happening with women. It's not to say, well, that's right because that's how our forefathers did it. It's to say, no, we're going to improve on it. And it's also not to say let's throw everything out about the forefathers. They had some good ideas, whether it's in your personal life, within your own family structure, or looking at, governments and things of this nature. So there's a lot to do. We have to look at it, keep what works and get rid of what doesn't, improve upon what doesn't work. And realize that a lot of it is the people of their time, I was just doing some of these readings. This comes up a lot in those past life readings, that, people have some Mars thing and I'll see them being this bloody warrior. I've seen that more than one time in more than one era and killing a lot of people. I've done it myself. I've been a warrior, in other lifetimes. And it's not like, oh, by today's standards, you might consider that person to be a barbarian, and you might consider them to be a murderer and a barbarian. But for the times that they lived in, it was par for the course. And if you're a soldier, you're going to kill people. You know, I mean, there's a good chance that you're going to kill people. Maybe not in today's society, but that's pretty much what you signed up for. You know, that's pretty much how they rolled, you know. So you can't judge the past by today's standards either, in all sorts of things. You know, well, my grandfather did this, my grandmother, blah, blah, blah. Well, look at the days they lived in. That was pretty much the standard of living and how people behave. So you have to detach from that. You have to detach from, oh, they were such a bad person because they did this or they did that. And detach from that and realize that in the days they lived in, that was pretty much the norm. And forgiveness. Forgiveness is huge here. Forgiveness is very huge in all of this. That's how you break the karmic cycle. That's how you break the karmic cycle on every level. And esoterically, through past lives and that, breaking the karmic cycle by forgiveness and letting go. Forgive those who trespassed against you. You know, that's some kind of Bible thing. It pulled that out of my butt from my Catholic upbringing, you know, but that's the truth. Then there's universal truths in all this stuff. It's not all bullshit. Let's throw it all away because it's not suited to our modern day. But yet, let's not hold to it like an iron glove because it's tradition. Let's you know, revise and evolve, which is what Aquarius is all about too. Back to the new moon point. It's, you know, we've got to evolve, we've got to change, we've got to grow, we've got to move into the future, we've got to embrace the new technology, we've got to, you know, the internet in expression and freedom of expression. That's what this is all about. Here's another thing that's going on at this time. Mercury's coming up to conjunct Pluto. So if you think that if you think things are harsh now, just wait till we get Mercury and Pluto together. Think if there's going to be some fiery speeches or some fiery, because Pluto can be pretty harsh. Pluto takes no prisoners. Pluto won't be. It's an immovable force. Talk about war. It's the god of the underworld, and it's like Pluto is uber powerful. And Mercury coming up means our speech, our words, our communication are going to be in the realm of Pluto. It's going to have, so our words will have power. Our speech will have power. What we say will have power. And that's for the good. I mean, that's good to stand up for your beliefs and everything, but it could also be for the ill. So you got to watch what you say, especially in your personal life. You could hurt somebody. You know, you could really hurt somebody. Words can hurt. And I'm not talking about hurting somebody in the public eye. I'm talking about in your personal life, you know. Because this Venus and Mars stuff's all involved, you know, in your personal life. If you're getting into a fight with your significant other or somebody that you really love and there's this deep connection with, you know, sometimes you say things that you can't take back. And, you know, your words are powerful, especially when you know them, you know their underbelly, you know their soft side. You know their buttons, you know how to push those buttons, you know. So be kind. Try to be kind about that. You know, this Mars stuff is also trining the Lilith here. So it's again, and it's a grand trine with Vesta, Lilith, Venus. That's the feminine archetypes. These are feminine archetypes. Vesta is the Vestal Virgins. In the sign of Cancer, to me that would represent the old paradigm, you know, typical, the woman who stays home and takes care of the children. I just heard this in my head psychically. It's to be seen and not heard, you know. And that's more something that was applied to children. But that was also a thing about women. Not that a stay-at-home parent is a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But in the traditional role, where the woman is, you know, practically, you know, as a house, I was going to use the word slave, but that's not the right word. You know, a maid. You know, I remember my ex, we went to see his father years ago when my kids were babies. And he referred to me as his maid. He said something about, tell your maid to do blah, blah, blah. Talking about me. And I remember thinking, what the, where does the maid, that really just irked me to my bones. You know, of course I didn't say anything, because again, it was taking into consideration this guy's from another generation and blah, blah, blah. But that's, I mean, this is 30 years later, and it's still just like, wow, I can't believe he called me his maid, you know? That really, and maybe it was maid short for maiden or something, but I didn't take it that way. That really, I mean, I 30 years talking, maybe I should follow my own advice and let go of that stuff. Yeah, so that's what this kind of represents, you know. And then Venus in Pisces, this would be like the high priestess in the tarot. This would be like the mystical lady, you know. And then Lilith is the empowered woman, but that everybody hates, you know. Everybody, you know, this is the feminine, this is the empowered woman. And she's got to go walk through the, she's got to go through the gauntlet. She's got to take shit from everybody. She's going to get stoned in the square, but yet she keeps walking. So it's the uniting of these feminine archetypes too. This is a very strong thing. In the sign of water, in the water sign, so this is, in the element of water, I should say. This is on our emotions. This is how we feel about these things. It's not necessarily, well, Mars is in there, so there was some outward expression and some male energy, but it's not necessarily how our outward expression, it's how we really feel about it deep within. You know, how do we really feel about it? How do we, if you're a female watching this, how do we attack other powerful women? How are we still competing, which comes from this mentality of being these kept women and having to compete for male attention in order for our own survival, because we couldn't earn our own living. That's where this all stems from, you know. So with Aquarius energy, it's a new day. You know, it's a new day. We don't have to do that anymore. Okay, so what else? Jupiter is still in Libra. That's making some kind of big aspect. It's still squaring Pluto, kind of a wide orb. It's opposing Uranus. Yeah, that's the thing. So this is, again, this Uranus, we want our freedom. In Aries, we're going to fight for it in Aries. That's the Mars energy. That's the warrior energy. We're going to fight for it. We're going to have a march. We're going to do not just the women's march. There's all sorts of marches and protests going on. Standing Rock, everything. And in other countries as well, not just America. Oppose Jupiter and Libra. You know, Jupiter and Libra, Libra is the scales of justice. So Jupiter being in Libra, you would think that this would bring about justice and fairness for all. That ultimately that's what it's going to be about. But it's also, you know, Jupiter, Libra is a very feminine sign. It's ruled by Venus. It can be, it's not really a fighting sign. You know, Libra energy is not the warrior. It's the opposite. You know, oppositions are, they don't call them oppositions for nothing. It's the opposite energy. Aries is the warrior, the male-dominated warrior energy, and Libra is the passive female energy, you know. But it also is justice. It's also seeing both sides of the issue. It's also, it's relationships. It's being in partnerships. You know, this is the individual, this first house is the individual, seventh house is the relationship, the partnership. So we've got to find a way to be in partnership with each other. We've got to find a way to see both sides of the issue. We've got to find a way to let justice prevail, true justice, not convoluted. You know, that's another thing with this Pisces energy. There's all that convoluted stuff and alternative facts and things like that. And the suppression of facts, that's what's really, you know, that's just really just mind-boggling that this is happening in the United States of America, that we're going to not allow science. Uranus rules science, too. So Uranus in Aries is going to fight for science to be heard. And to suppress the facts of science. I mean, what is that? That is just way off in the deep end here. Well, luckily, you know, Chiron's going to be there for a while, and Neptune's going to be there for a while. But Pallas, Venus, Mars, and even the nodes are going to change out of there, so that this fog that we on, because Pisces energy, it can be a fog. It's like a fog, you know. I think the fog is going to be lifted as we progress through this year, and then the next new and full moons are going to be eclipses too. So a lot of things are going to change during that time frame for sure. But for now, we've got this Pisces energy. We've got these wounds. It's karmic. It's past life. It's emotional. It's emotional. People are emotionally invested in the goings-on and what's happening in the world, right? But the new moon's in Aquarius. Embracing science, embracing the new technology, finding new ways of doing things, new friends and associates, people uniting. It's uniting in groups, too. Finding groups. We're stronger together. You know, we're stronger together than the individual. All right, so I guess that about covers it. So go ahead and everybody, if you want to find out more about me and the services I offer, I do readings, I have books, decks, all sorts of stuff. Check up in the corner, right-hand top corner, that little eye in the sky will take you to my website, which you can find everything on my website. I don't have it pulled up right now, and I just didn't get to it, and that's just the way it's going to be. But anyways, here's that chart. Here's that new moon chart. Check it out. New moon in Aquarius. It's tumultuous times we're living in right now. It's something, some crazy energy, but we'll get through it. We will get through it. So in the meantime, remember you are love and beauty incarnate. Have a great new moon. This is Vickie Verley wishing you a great new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.